All right, so I know we've been kind of traveling along the chakras, and today we're going to do the third eye, or the sixth chakra in the body. The Sanskrit word for it is Ajna, the Ajna chakra, and Ajna means foremost, and it's really to explain, the importance of this chakra, that it's the foremost chakra in the body, and even though our heart center is the center of the chakras, where, we're kind of connecting the top three and the bottom three in this spiritual and earthly plane to kind of come together. The Ajna chakra is also the seat of connecting our spiritual selves with our earthly surroundings and our earthly body. So the chakra itself, lands kind of in between your eyebrow. Ooh, that was, did anybody see that? I put my hands on my chakra and hearts just like expanded outward. So that was pretty cool. I don't know if that showed up on your screen too, but
It
um
did.
it
And
did. That was very meaningful. Cool. All right. So, this it's really lands be in between the eyebrows, kind of deep in the center of our brain, and it um is governing of the pituitary gland, the master gland in the body, as well as the pineal gland and the hypothalamus. So when you think about how important that area of our brain is, where we kind of regulate so much of our body from our hormonal system in this part of our brain. And so it's just a very important part. But it also regulates our eyes, our ears, our nose, our sinuses. So it's this sense of our senses, where we perceive the world through, for the most part, is through our eyes, ears, and nose. And this really lends itself to the meaning of Ajna chakra, which is our perception, our capacity to perceive what is truth, our capacity to perceive higher consciousness, and our state of being a spiritual being in a physical body. There's a lot of connection to our intuition, and our sensing of more than just our material world, but our spiritual world as well. So it's often a point of focus in meditation to kind of, center in on the third eye. To me, it feels like a very centering point in the body, period. Not just in the mind, but in ourselves, our sense of selves. We can really center in around this place. So when this chakra is working well, when all is flowing and moving well in our beings, in our energy bodies, we can have an increased sense of focus and clarity, which is such a gift, right? We can have increased imagination and creativity. We can have a really deep, profound sense of self-awareness, and we can learn to listen to that inner wisdom, to the inner guide, the inner Atman, our higher power, our higher selves. Um, we can have a lot of spiritual connection to the world, to each other, to planes that we can or cannot see. And then we also can have a sense of increased intuition. So, I think as we age, kids are so intuitive. And then as we kind of learn to live in our logical minds and listen to the conditioning of our thoughts and kind of acquiesce to the patterning of our cultures, we tend to lose our intuition. And when we have the third eye, when we have balance and we have a sense of harmony and flow in this chakra, it enhances our state of intuitive capacities. And I think it's interesting that it's, up in the mind, like we think our intuition is in the mind, but really when we have heightened intuition, it's an energy perception that may begin in the third eye, but really has a lot of sensing throughout the whole body. Your gut instincts, your tingling on the hairs on the back of your neck, like all the ways that your body perceives intuition is connected to this Ajna chakra. And then also when a lot of times meditations are centered in on this state of this place within our mind, and it can help us calm our mind and calm stress and anxiety when we have this chakra flowing well. So, and then of course, hormone balance, when we have, if you think about all that's governed by the pituitary gland and the hypothalamus and the pineal glands, it's kind of amazing. Um, so besides all of that kind of balancing out, we can sense when this chakra is imbalanced or blocked or not flowing well. And it's just the opposite of everything I just said: a lack of clarity, a lack of focus, a lack of following or paying attention to your intuition, a disconnection to our spiritual selves, to the spiritual world, sleep challenges, anxiety. An unfocused mind, a lethargic mind, challenges with your hormones. All of these things can show up, and also just simply the area where it is. So challenges with your eyes, your ears, your sinuses, headaches, things like that. So um, it's a beautiful chakra to harmonize, and the sound, I forgot to mention the sounds, I think, for some of the other chakras. And on Monday, we're going to do a sound healing, and that'll be challenging because I'm here all by myself and you are there all by yourself. So it's much nicer, I think, to do sound healing with each other where there's group harmonics happening. But Monday we'll do a meditation where we kind of sound out all the sounds, starting at the root chakra and moving upwards. So that'll be a beautiful thing to experience, all the sounds of the chakras. And the sound of Ajna is Om, which we've had a lot of experience with in our lives, probably chanting Om here and there and everywhere. So from a yoga perspective, from an asana and meditation, or all the paths, the lineage of the eight limb path of yoga, in our physical practice, things like inversions, headstands, which we're not going to do today. I have I feel challenged to teach inversions online because there is so much nuance and you can hurt yourself. So I really want your headstands to be in a healthy place, but we're going to do some modifications to that are a little safer, especially if you don't feel comfortable being in a headstand. But anything that inverts your body and kind of brings a lot of blood flow to your brain. And then also meditation, it doesn't just have to be asana, but it can also be the other limbs of yoga, pranayama, dharana, dhyana, this sense of pratyahara when we're kind of removing the exterior influences and focusing deep within. These will support the development of Ajna chakra. So, yeah, let's practice. So, um, as you come to sit up straight and tall, let's see if you can start out on a comfortable perch. So, sit up on something so that your body is comfy. And before we even kind of tune in word, let's just move a little bit. Since you've been sitting for a moment, let's do some seated cat-cows where we're kind of arching and rounding the spine. And maybe you can close your eyes and start to feel your way into your breath body as you do this, where we perhaps find an exhale as we round the spine, and an inhale as we arch the spine, and maybe your breath is flipped from that and you'd rather inhale when you curl and exhale when you open. It doesn't matter, just make sure you're breathing and feeling the fullness of your spine. And then let's do a few shoulder rolls while we're here, maybe some backwards rolls, and then some forward rolls. And then let's do a little seated twist. So bring one hand to the outside of your knee and open up into a twist. Keep your breath moving. And come back to center. And let's bring our hand to the other side. Feeling a softening through your diaphragm, melt a little bit so your breath can move. Okay. And then come back to center. And hopefully you've just kind of tapped into a little bit of body awareness through those simple movements. Sense into the grounding of your legs and your pelvis. Feel the alignment of these chakras through your center body, the root, the sacral chakra, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown. Just see if you can sense into this beautiful alignment, feeling an opening across the collarbones, a sense of space. Start to become aware of your breathing. Let your exhales and inhales work well. So, a sense of flow, feeling into your nose, your sinuses. Melt through your eyes. Melt the skin of your forehead from your hairline. Drop it down and melt it toward your eyebrows. You can even take your hands onto your forehead and just gently trace downward so that you just have this feeling of softness coming into your face. Relax your inner ears and soften through your jaw. We're going to come into some alternate nostril breathing. So take your thumb and ring finger on your nostrils, kind of high on the top of your nostrils. Very gently, we'll start blocking off with our thumb the right nostril. Breathe in through your left. When you feel ready, close that off and breathe out through your right. Breathe in through your right. So always remember the pattern goes breathe out, breathe in through the same nostril, then switch sides. Out, in, switch, out, in, switch. All right, so be mindful of the center of your body. Try not to push your head over to one side. Try not to press too hard on the septum of your nose. You can bow just a teeny bit and lift your heart if that feels more comfortable. Be very light in your touch. Relax your shoulders. The next time you get to exiting out through your left, we'll pause, we'll stop there, but take your time, finish the rhythm of what you're doing. And then notice, the cathedral of space in your skull, your sinuses, all the spaciousness the breath can penetrate. And then when you're ready, focus in on that third eye and try not to feel like you're cross-eyed. Rest the muscles of your eyes and put your third eye into attention. in between your eyebrows. Some people sense it a little higher than your eyebrows, wherever you feel the center of your third eye to be. And remember, we're going deep into the skull. We're not right at the surface of our skin, but we're in the center of our brain. Relax here. Relax this place. Melt your brain. Melt your skull. Melt everything you can, your bones, your joints. Notice the centering that lives here. And in this space, bring your hands together at your heart. And just pause in the sense of centering. Okay, feeling that midline of the body where all the chakras kind of have their hub. We have energy fields running throughout our bodies and around our physical bodies, but there's this centering space that the third eye can give us. Center of focus and clarity. See if you can seek that for yourself. Keep breathing. And when you're ready, bring your hands up to your third eye. Lift your heart and let's set an intention right here. What do you need more intuition with, more focus with, more clarity, more spiritual connection, a sense of leading from your highest self? What could be your intention working with this? And then relax your hands and we'll find our way onto our back. And so as you stretch out and lengthen, remember that every time you move your body in yoga and asana, we are working with all of the energy meridians of the body, all of the chakras of the body. So you don't have to just think, oh, it's the third eye. I'm just going to focus on my head. All energy, it moves everywhere. So let's reach our arms overhead and come into that state of openness through our sides. Move your hips, move your shoulders, enjoy your breathing. Okay, and then bring your knees into your chest and let your low back open up a little bit. Maybe a bit of rocking here. All right, and then hang on to the knees and let's circle our pelvis a little bit. Circle your legs, just feeling a sense of relaxation through your sacrum. Go the other way, spinning your circles. All right, and then the third way, open your knees away from the middle and swivel them back in. So circles, semicircles, zigzags, straight lines, anything that makes your hip joints kind of welcome movement, kind of touch the edges of your joints. And then come to a happy baby pose. Grab your feet. I know it's, a big stretch, so you can always hold behind your knees if that's more comfortable. And feel free to rock a little bit, side to side. Let your head rock too. See if you can just let your brain kind of slosh a little bit left and right. All right, and then relax that right knee into your chest. Stretch your left leg long on the ground and let's open up our ankles and wiggle through our toes and feel some mobility here. Breathing deeply. All right, then switch sides, left knee in, right leg long. Keep moving your feet around. A nice good squeeze through your knee. A big breath. All right, and then stretch your limbs to a star, reaching outward, spacious. Move your hands around, wiggle your wrists, fingers, and then draw your knees in on your exhale. Pick up your head round to your spine. Put your feet on the ground, arms out to the side, and let's windshield wiper our knees.
And of course, you can, move a little deeper, twisting if your body wants a little deeper twisting. All right. And then relax in neutral for a moment. Feel the grounding of the back of your head. Feel the grounding of the soles of your feet. And see what it feels like to just kind of open up your skull, relax all the bones in your head. You have all these plates in your head, with suture lines where we kind of knit our skull bones together, but there's spaciousness in those skull bones. So see if you can just relax through those suture lines, letting your brain soften inside your skull. Okay. And then open up to a star one more time, reaching, exhale, rounding, and roll to your side to come up to your hands and your knees. Okay, so find all fours and let's move our spine. So rounding and arching your back, taking your time to find your breath, to find your vertebrae. And any kind of movement you want to do, you can wag your tail or circle through your ribs and your hips, anything that feels delicious in your body. Remember to breathe no matter what you're doing. All right, and then we'll settle back towards child's pose and walk the hands far out in front of you. Stretch your shoulders and relax your forehead onto the ground. And if you, for some reason, can't reach the ground, put a block or a blanket under your head so your forehead touches something. All right, and let's open up your rib cage by walking the hands to one side or the other and find that shoulder rib hip stretch here. Relax the base of your skull, melt through your eyes, soften your jaw. Okay. And then we'll come to the other side and stretch here. Feeling that reaching of space, drop some weight down into your sit bones, soften your skull. And then coming back to center. Let's lift to a dog pose here, feeling that sense of connection to hands and feet on the ground. So pedal your feet a little bit, dropping one heel, bending the other knee, switching sides, just kind of waking up the legs. And remember to sense, part of our perception is not just what we're perceiving in our mind, but what we're perceiving in our body. So let the ruling of that Ajna chakra kind of live everywhere within you. It can govern intuition and perception, which also lives in every cell of your body. So root to rise, feel the ground, yield into it, give yourself space in your body, feel, let yourself kind of come online in every bit of you, so we're fully present, embodied. Melt through your skull here, relax your head, and then soften the skin on your face and see if you can melt the bones of your face and soften them. Right. Walk your feet forward and come to Uttanasana, forward fold. Relaxing your head here. See what it feels like to be inverted. We're gonna kind of live in this place for a teeny bit of our practice today. So just feel that sense of what supports you here. Can you feel the groundedness of the 4 points of your each foot? Can you bend your knees enough where your spine lengthens? Is your head able to bobble? Can you draw your femur bones back in their joints? Can you tip the pelvis a little bit so that the tail lifts and the pubic bone drops down? All right, and then come to a half lift, hands on high blocks out in front of you. Extend and lengthen some space here. Let's pedal your feet while we're here. So one hip back as you bend the other knee, and then switch sides. And feel free to cross your knee past your midline a little bit if that feels nice to do. We're just letting our hips find some space. And then ground again into a forward fold. Relax your skull. Push through your feet. Come on up. You were low for a while, so be gentle with yourself rising. You might get a little dizzy if that happens to you. Squeeze to the midline. Take a deep breath in, reaching your arms up. Feel some openness through your heart center. Let's cactus open our chest. Feel some spreading of your wings. Hug your shoulder blades toward each other. And then with your exhale, ground in, chin to chest, forearms to touch. Press your palms out, interlace your fingers, and press your palms straight up toward the sky. Reach your crown up toward those hands. Feel that extension in your sides. And then exhale and lower your body back down. Relax your skull. Inhale for a halfway lift, opening up through your spine. Exhale to melt and fold. Step back with your left leg. We'll come into a lunge. Right foot is in front, finding some support underneath your hands. Open the chest. Okay. And let's go ahead and bend and straighten the front leg. Slow yourself down. Move with the rhythm of your breathing. Then we'll ground our legs, find your rootedness, push through your feet, rise up, crescent lunge. Feel that extension, stabilize your body. Try not to shrink in your low back, but rise out of your pelvis. Push into your feet. And then we'll release the hands down, back foot comes forward, fold. A halfway lift here, opening up the sit bones, spread open the bottom of your feet. Then exhale, relax your head, melt down. We're going to come back to a lunge. Left foot is in front, take your right foot back. And so opening up your legs on this side. And so we'll start to move, bending, straightening the front leg, just feeling your way with your breath. Enjoying that grounded feeling of your legs. How nice to feel the ground. So if you notice the bottom of your feet. Are you breathing well? And when you feel ready, root your legs down, push down, rise up. Crescent lunge, arms coming upward. Feel your ribs draw in as you reach to the sky. Full breaths in, full breaths away. Press into that front heel, activate the back of that leg. And release your hands down back to a dog pose. Open up through your spine, feel your roots drop down, root down, rise up. Melt your skull again, relax the muscles around your face. Inhale, come forward into a plank. Ground yourself, root the index fingers. Feel that sense of connection here. Big breaths. All right, we'll put our knees down on the ground if you need it. Find the ground. Let's roll the shoulders a couple of times here. And then inhale, open up to a back bend, cobra pose. Melt on your exhales. Remember to not hold your breath. Draw your elbows back. Stabilize with your legs, your core. Melt and fold. Come up to all fours and move around in your spine. We'll do a twist here, reaching your left arm up in the air. Exhale and slide that arm underneath and twist. Gaze toward the ground. Breathe. Let your head get very melty on the ground here. All right, and then inhale, bring that arm back up in the air. Hand comes down and we'll switch to the other side. Arm up, drop that arm under, twisting well. All right, and then reach that arm back up in the air. Hand comes down onto the ground. Another dog pose. Every time you come into an inversion, focus on that melting of your mind. Okay, see if you can melt the brain itself. Bobble your head a little bit if you want to. Feel the skin of your face kind of feel like it's going to just drip down toward the ground. The bones, your cheekbones are softening. Your eyes are softening. Your jaw, your tongue. And then walk your feet forward. Come to Uttanasana. Inhale, rising all the way up. Bring your palms together up over your head, and we're going to very slowly trace down through the center line of our body. And imagine, don't imagine, see if you can feel this energy field extends to all the way up where your hands are. So sense the center of your energy. Finding that midline, move very slowly. Okay, we're going to pause at your third eye with your hands for just a moment and just feel into that centered space between your eyebrows. Lower down. Maybe let's bring our hands to our heart. And just pause here in Samastitihi. Soften your eyes. Center into that midline of the body. See if you can feel the breath billowing out and back toward that center line. Unlock your knees. Feel equal balanced weighted in your feet. Equal balance pressure between your hands. Soften in your third eye without feeling like you're cross-eyed. Don't look back with your eyeballs. Just melt. Inhale, rise up with your arms again. Exhale, loading forward. Bend your knees. This time interlace your hands behind the base of your skull. A little bit of pressure of weight dropping down and then tucking your chin in. Opening up some of those spinal muscles. And then release your head down. Okay. Come back up, chair pose. Feet are either together or you can have your a block between your legs or just your legs apart with no block, your choice. Stretching upward through your arms, finding your breath, breathing in, breathing out. Reach through your arms. We'll come up onto our tippy toes. Balance postures I think are really great for increasing the sense of clarity and focus. So let's just bring our attention now toward that sense of balance. Heels down onto the ground. And we're going to lift the left knee up in the air. Take your right thigh back and your hip in and just feel your way into the simplicity of this pose. It's not easy, but we're not doing anything super complicated. So just notice your knee up, your arms down, unlock your standing knee. Okay, just waking up some of those
strengthening muscles needed for balanced postures. And then we'll put that foot down onto the ground. Find your breath. And we'll come to the second side. So lifting your right knee, standing on your left leg. The hip is in. We're not sinking out to the side, but drawing in, thigh bone back, and unlock your knee. Feel the roots of your foot on the ground. Root to rise. So find your crown lifting. Full breaths. Turn your palms facing forward. Focus your attention on a spot and softly find your drishti. A drishti is just your gaze spot. And then release that foot down onto the ground. Back up onto your toes. Feel that extension in your body. Strong feet. And then exhale, chair pose, but this time hands to your heart. Center in your attention. Find your breath. You can either keep your hands here or you can bring them out, and we're going to lift and hover your left foot up. Just finding some stability on one leg. And then slowly rise up, lift that knee, standing up more straight, and we'll twist to the left. Thigh bone back, right thigh bone back, lift your crown, lift your head. See if you can turn your gaze toward your back arm. Okay, coming back to center, slow and steady. And we're going to have faith that the ground is behind us. Stretch toward a Vira 3, just a little teeny moment there. And then heel down onto the ground, Vira 1. Rising upward. Exhale, hands down, step your front foot back. Feeling into that extension, finding your breath. Notice symmetry. Notice midline. Center your focus. Inhale, come forward into a plank. Still feeling symmetry, feeling midline. And find the ground. Any back bend you want. Could be a cobra, could be something different. Come back up. Wiggle around in your hips. Find your way to a dog. And then walk your feet forward. Chair pose again, but this time feet hip width apart. Put your hands on the outer knees, so we're not coming all the way up to a chair. Press your outer knees. Drop weight into your inner feet. Drag your feet apart. Drag your knees apart. Press into your outer knees. Start lifting your chest. Okay, inhale. Come all the way up onto your toes. Find your focus. Exhale, chair pose. Palms together. You can put your feet closer or leave them where they are. Your choice. We'll hover now into our left foot. We'll hover or ground into your left foot. Hover your right foot. Keep your left knee bent. Stay in that one-legged squat. And then when you're ready, inhale, rising up. Keep your focus. Keep your drishti. Knee up in the air, arms up. Let's twist to the right. Let your gaze follow slowly. Thigh bone back, hip in. Check in with your knee, unlock it. Feel the ground, feel your crown. How's your breath? And slowly bring your arm back up. Have faith that the ground is there. A little movement through a Vira 3. And then place your heel down. Inhale, rising up. Finding breath. Exhale, hands down, back foot comes forward, a forward fold. Push through your feet, rising up. Trace down through your center again. Close your eyes. Center into your third eye. All right, let's take our feet wide apart on the mat. Drop into your knees and just stretch your inner legs. I know when we've been focusing on these upper chakras, we haven't done as many standing poses, so let your hips open up here. Drop weight into your feet. Inhale, come all the way up, standing star. Move down toward a goddess, slow. And when you bring your hands down, trace that center line of the body. Let this be a focusing posture. Inhale, rising up with your hands and straightening your legs. Exhale, dropping down again. Can you feel that the focus isn't just about where your gaze is, but it's about an awareness of your whole being, perceiving that grounded and centered space? What are you lifting up through your body? And what are you dropping down into your body? Can you feel that sense of energetic flow? Last time. Coming down. Ground yourself. If you need more grounding, palms facing down. If you need more welcoming, palms facing up. Standing star. Feet are wide, turn your toes in. All right, so we'll do a couple of inversions here. This is a great alternative to a headstand if headstands are not in your practice. Grab one or two blocks, whatever you need. And we're going to put the very top of our head on the block. So in a moment, we'll do something where our forehead is resting on the block. But for this pose, let's see if you can take the very top of your head. Perhaps you get it to the floor, but just kind of experiment with where you want the height to be or how high you want it to be. Hands are on the ground. Lift your shoulders away from the earth. Draw your elbows toward each other so they stay in line with your shoulders as well as your hands. Lift your sit bones, widen your feet and ground them. Unlock your knees. Even though your legs are straightening, try not to push your knees back. Feel the length of the back of the legs, the length of the spine. Melt your head. Feel that counter pressure at the center of your head. See if you can melt all around your skull and your face. Shoulders are lifting up, but your face is relaxed. Your jaw, your neck, the base of your skull, all your skull bones. All right, and come out of there. Bring your hands onto blocks so you come halfway up. Let your blood pressure and your body equalize after being, head down for a while. And then we'll heel toe our feet in. We have two more inversions that kind of mimic what a headstand would do, but not quite. All right, I'm going to try to show this right here. You need your block again. I don't know if you can see me. I guess you can see me well enough. You need a wall for this, so hopefully you have a wall. We're going to take our hands like this, thumb and index fingers against the wall for a supported dog pose, and we're going to put a block under our head. So the block, isn't right up against the wall because that's not where your head is. And we're going to come back to a dog pose, and you can put the block on any height. You can stack two blocks, whatever you want to do, but let the block kind of be at your hairline, around your forehead, on your forehead at your hairline. And then we use the wall to push
and lengthen and find this posture. Notice if you want to collapse, see if you can keep the ribs integrating into the body. I should have brought my mat with me because my feet are a little slippery on my rug, but you find, so bring your mat with you if you have just moved to be closer to a wall. Feel your femur bones up and back. Feel the groundedness of the wall helping your hands melt your head. Find your breathing. See if you can melt a little bit here. Just keep melting your jaw, your face, your eyes, your tongue, the base of your skull, the activities in your arms and your legs. So push the wall away. Feel that length in your ribs, the length in your shoulders, the lift of your femur bones up and back. And when you're ready, just come down into a child's pose. Maybe your head can come onto the block. Maybe you'd rather move the block and put your head on the ground. So, however you want to be in that posture for a moment. Just again, let your body rest here where you're feeling a sense of surrender, trust. Part of learning to have a connection to the higher planes, to our spiritual selves, is learning how to trust, learning how to open into intuition, into awareness. Sometimes child's pose is a wonderful place to just learn that sense of surrender. And then come on up, be slow. And when you do inversions, you want to be very careful when you come back to standing. Our blood pressure can sometimes have some challenges of regulating when we go up and down. So move slowly. You can always come halfway up first for a bit and then up. So, find your path. And the last of the inversions that we're going to do is Uttanasana with a block. So you can have your legs wide, like to the edges of your mat. And then we're going to come down and, perhaps one block is enough, perhaps two blocks is necessary. See what you can do. And you can adjust, maybe take your legs a little wider. And now we're back to having the balance point be at the top of our head, not at our forehead. So we're going to hold our ankles, lift your shoulders up away from the ears, and find your breath. So modulate how wide your legs need to go so that your legs can be straight. Let your spine lengthen. Feel that counter pressure of the block under your head. Usually what I notice when I do this is I start with my legs wider, and then as my hamstrings open, I can usually bring my legs just a little bit closer toward each other in this pose. So femur bones up and back, tip the pelvis, the tail lifts toward the sky, the spine waterfalls toward the ground. You can hold anywhere on your legs, but your shoulders are lifting up away from the ears, some pressure in your head. Just a bit of pressure. You don't have to put all your body weight there, but feel the counter pressure. Keep lifting your shoulders and your shoulder blades. And by lift, I mean toward the ceiling, not toward your ears. Away from your ears, up toward the sky. How's your breath? How's your capacity to melt? All right, relax that. Again, take your two blocks, half lift now, be slow, maybe bring your feet in a little closer. Pause here so you feel that sense of kind of getting your blood to return going in the other direction. Bend your knees, maybe pause with your hands on your thighs, and eventually find your way up to stand. Center into the midline again. Feel the weight of your feet.
Big breath in. Big breath out. All right, let's find the ground. We'll come to lie down on our back. Put your right foot on your left knee and let's find a reverse pigeon pose. And just give a moment to your hips, let them open. Keep melting the back of your head on the ground. So just as much as we were melting our forehead and the top of our head in those inversions, now we're melting the back of the skull. All right, let's open up to a star, reaching your limbs. Draw your knees into your chest, pick up your head, and then switch sides. Put your right foot down, left foot on right knee. Let all the pressure that you built up in your brain and in your sinuses, all that extra blood flow to your head. See if you can just start feeling the dissipation of that. Relaxing the base of the skull, the back of the head, the jaw, the ears. Relax your eyes. All right, one more time, stretching to a star. And then draw your knees in. Let's just do a simple twist. Put your feet down, lift your hips and scoot them right. Knees come up, drop left, and make sure you turn your head. Opening up through this twist, let your body rest on the ground. Turn your gaze, turn your head, let your neck open. Coming back to center. Scoot your hips over to the left, knees come up and drop to the right, twisting your head. Big breaths here. I'll open to a star. And then relax for Shavasana. So as we come to rest here, we're gonna sit after Shavasana for a moment, just for a moment. So let your body fully rest in this pose. See what it feels like to let the back of your head soften into the ground. So much of the time we take a lot of pressure in our head. We tend to tip our head forward. We tend to hold a lot of tension. So see what you can do to melt through your skull as best as you can. Remember how good it feels when someone massages your head, and try to conjure up that feeling and just gently receive the release. Remember to breathe well. Soften your bones down.
And to move just a little bit. Breathe a little deeper. Maybe invite a big stretch. And come rolling over onto your side. Come up to sit.
And just as we have done loving kindness meditation before, now we're going to kind of center in our third eye. Remember to soften this. We're not finding a sense of, don't get overwhelmed by trying to turn your attention and cause strain. And just take a moment to center into this part of your body. Relax through your skull. See if you can come into that seat of awareness. Or you can sense our connection on a spiritual plane. And just as when we connect through our heart center, we can feel and connect to all beings. Let's see if we can connect through this plane as well. And let's offer the highest good for all beings everywhere. And then when you're ready, bring your hands to your third eye. And may the highest in me honor the highest in you. And in that place, may we be one. This is the meaning of Namaste. May we be one in the plane of our highest selves. So offer that to the world, beyond the world, to all beings everywhere. May we be one. All right. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.